Okay, we're going to try this again. I'm going to call the October 19th meeting of the Wolfeboro Police Commission to order and invite everybody to stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do know we have items for non-public, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes from September 15th.
I move that the minutes be accepted as read,
Okay,
as prepared.
I second it.
and a second from Commissioner Coop.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, before we get into the monthly reports, I'm going to do something different again. I'd like to invite John McDonald to speak. John is a lifelong resident of Wolfeboro. He's also served very, very unselfishly on the Budget Committee for 30-plus years, chairing for many of those years that committee. He does a great job. He's here today, actually, on a police matter. And John, if you would please, I will let you come forward. Yeah, come forward and, or you can speak from there. Okay, that whatever you
I
want.
don't know if we can pick you up.
This will pick it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to let you folks realize what a good job one of your officers did with my mom. She was taken advantage of for about $2,000, somewhere in there, of checks that someone down to Virginia, down that area, had written and cashed. And I went to the PD and I met with the officer, and a couple of months passed, did the investigation, then he eventually located the person that did the checks, or a friend of the person who did the checks down in Virginia. And he's also spoken to that person. And I just want to thank you guys and the officer, I think that officer's right here, I'm not sure, for the outstanding job that he did. And I'm very impressed with his investigative abilities and his always communicating with me, keeping me in the loop of what was going on. I just wanted to recognize him for that ability. And he did a great job.
Thank you very much, John. I had an opportunity, yeah. We had I had an opportunity today to read the log for that particular event and then the historical data that went along with it, all the interactions between you and Officer Peasley, and it was very nice to see that his responses were timely to you, and that ultimately he got this thing handled.
Yeah.
Josh has only been with us a couple of years. He's been doing great things. He's now on the Belknap County SWAT team, which gives us here in Wolfeboro an additional resource. God forbid we should ever need it, but we do have that ability because he's there. But he's been doing an incredible job for us in the 2 years that he's been with us, and we're very grateful, Josh, as a commission.
Thank you, happy to be here.
Thank you. Okay. We will move forward now with the monthlies. Captain? Captain Livy will be filling in for Chief Rondo this month. The chief is still on vacation.
Yeah, so I'll start with the arrest year-to-date for 2022. So as you get into what you see is September, as you see that decrease of 28%. And I think you guys asked me last week, or actually a couple months ago, because the chief was out. And it kind of goes with the incidents too, when we get to this next page. The incidents are up 64, which is an increase of 33.33%. But you asked me that question that in July and August why we were so low compared to the previous months. And after analyzing that and looking at it, so it comes down to the 40, 48, 46, 50, 46. If you look at all the months, that's our average. As you saw, June, May, really April, it peaked. That was the increase, what we were talking about. Hey, we're getting busy. The officers are really getting in-house, basically trapped in the house, getting paperwork done. As you see, September is 64, we're back up. 40 and 48, now that's really our average every month after analyzing that whole thing. So I just wanted to answer that question for you. previous things. So we had 80 offenses in September with 64 cases, so multiple offenses within the case. And the backup data work is all there. So traffic stops year to date, as long as that's right. So September, there's a decrease of 1764. Well, that was working well. Maybe it's thinking. Yeah, I lost that. So traffic stops year to date. September decreased 1764. We had 196 compared to last month of 238. The highway safety grants, there's like a little month of lapse there. So they pick back up in October. I think it's actually getting presented tonight for next year's amount, which is the highway safety granted us $15,652 in that general ballpark, which is largely increase of the $2,000 that we got last year, so that's good. Collisions, there's a decrease of 769 this month from last month of 13 to this month of 12, which is only 1. This is still high. If you look at that, that's about 118 we had this year compared to previous years, because that's what you really want to look at. In 2021, we had 90, and I skipped 2020 because due to the fact that that's a COVID year, and went to 2019, which we had 109 from this mark. So if we look at that, we're up about 10 to 20 compared to previous years.
Would you attribute that, Captain, to the increased traffic
Yeah.
that hasn't left?
Yeah. Well, I don't
I
know
mean,
if it's
a lot
left.
of people have left, but
I think a lot of people are here to stay, and actually a lot more people come up here to visit.
Still a lot of traffic.
It's been a busy summer.
Yeah, especially with the leaves. I mean, that weekend was, the long weekend was amazing to see
Yeah.
how many buses came
Yeah.
in and everything like that.
With the mountain and everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we had a good amount of people in this general area. So more people, more traffic. So you guys can look at the stats for the 2023. Now this is all the officers all year, up to date, September 30th. And just realize there's some of them that are on midnights, which have, as we always say, has less reports, but the most dangerous shift that we do have. You guys want to look at that? Then I'll get into the school resource officer for the month of September, as she's back in school. September was the first month of the school for the SRO Divine with 19 full days of school this past month. SRO Divine focused on going to each school in Wolfeboro. These included Kingswood High School, Middle School, Crescent Lake School, and Carpenter School. If you didn't know, the middle school and the Carpenter School have new principals this year. So Carpenter School being Principal Rose, great addition, and the middle school being Principal Hunt, and she was the vice principal last year, well, previous years. And they have a new vice principal, which is Principal Bennett. So he's new to the district, so.
Okay.
So SRO Divine had toured the schools with other Wolfeboro officers and dispatchers. SRO Divine also toured the schools with mutual aid agencies to become familiar with the schools in case of an emergency. We do that pretty frequently. We like to have our dispatchers know what the school looks like, the grounds, all that good stuff, because they're the ones who are sending us to these calls. And basically, our officers need to familiarize themselves with that school, because it's a very large school, with the middle school, high school, and vocational school being all together. It holds a good amount of people up in that general area. And square footage, I couldn't even tell you off the top of the head, but it's pretty large, especially with the Arts Center attached to it. So SRO Divine responded to several incidents in the high school, middle school, and Crescent Lake School. During the past month, SRO Divine responded to a reported accident that was non-reportable per the state's definition for crashes. Additionally, an arrest report for endangering the welfare of a child and possession of drugs resulting in juvenile petition to court. 19 incidents reported were written this past month. They included, but are not simply limited to, 4 criminal mischief reports, 2 truancy reports, 2 disorderly conduct reports, 7 drug vape related offenses, 2 mental illness reports, a student attempting to leave twice, and criminal trespass report. So pretty busy with the 19 days. And that's only half the month. SRO Divine assisted patrol with 2 separate theft cases outside the school, which she interviewed students and gathered evidence. SRO Divine required the fire department and Stewart's ambulance to respond for 3 separate incidents this past month. SRO Divine participated in a meeting regarding Kingswood Next Step Team. Now that's basically an attendance team. So she helps to get these kids back in school. And she works with the administrative, police, and councils to figure out a way to get the kids back in school. So she's doing that. She also did an extra patrol with our mutual aid, which was New Hampshire State Liquor, yesterday, where she went out to the stores with some 18-year-olds or younger to purchase tobacco products. And one store, unfortunately, did sell. So we do this with our mutual aid assistance and to keep these stores compliant, because we're having a lot of problems with the schools with tobacco. So we got that yesterday. So one of them was charged with the 126K violation of tobacco, unfortunately. And you see all the backup work for SRO Divine that she has in there. So I'll move on to Detective Emerson. So he was busy in the month of September too. So during this first part of the month, Detective Emerson handled a domestic disturbance call with a report of a firearm while the duty officer was tied up with another call across town. Later, Detective Emerson assisted with an untimely death that was determined to be natural causes. Additionally, Detective Emerson assisted in searching for and then locating a juvenile with reported mental health issues who had to run away from home. Also in September, Detective Emerson and Sergeant Jared Bullia, as they were assisting Forest and Lands Enforcement with a potential illegal harvesting of lumber case located in a very remote area of Wolfeboro, a small rustic cabin. So the cabin was found to be a meth lab. Yes, this does happen in this small little community in town every so often. It contained multiple toxic and dangerous chemicals. So when officers approach these things, especially, it was nice that Sergeant Jared Bolio was there because he's very familiar with these incidents. A lot of these chemicals can explode right on the officer and potentially hurt or kill them. So, and what was inside there could have exploded. So, which could get anybody in this remote area going out there, kids or anything else, because it's accessed by 4-wheels. Meth lab and containing multiple toxic, dangerous chemicals. The perpetrator was using the one-pot method to produce crystal methamphetamine, and the DA was immediately notified. They responded with their clandestine laboratory enforcement team the following day. So they all went out there. The team went back out to the site, guided them through the forest to the location where the lab was processed for evidence, surveillance established, and the site remediated throughout the removal of the toxic chemicals. Between evidence locating at the scene and some good old-fashioned police work, a subject was later identified through the hard work of Corporal Shanks, Sergeant Bulio, Staff Sergeant Maloney, and Detective Emerson. Through more diligent detective work, Sergeant Bulio, Staff Sergeant Maloney, and Detective Emerson were able to provide specific information to the U.S. Marshal's Office as to identify the subject. The fact that the felony warrant out of Kentucky existed for this person, who was actually in Wolfeboro, who made this meth lab, extraditable, there we go, anywhere in the United States,
Yeah.
which means this is a bad guy. If they don't care where he is, anywhere in the United States, and they're going to come out and get him.
Mm.
And where this fugitive may reside, hiding. Additionally, as turns out, he was connected with a dangerous fugitive search that the Wolfeboro Police and Carroll County Sheriff's Office were involved with tracking 2 weeks earlier. So we were out in that general area. There was 3 of us, the Sheriff's Office, Wakefield, Tufton Borough, looking for this individual. But he was picked up by a friend and taken away. We never got him that night. Through this team's vigorous efforts, the U.S. Marshals out of Kentucky were able to execute on our information to apprehend this dangerous subject where he was presently incarcerated and awaiting trial. So eventually he did get caught, so which is a great job, and how really our team works with other agencies within the state, other states, federal and state agencies, so that's great. Moreover, Detective Emerson assisted the University of New Hampshire with a study being done on the increase in sexual assault crimes and sexual exploitation crimes against children in New Hampshire. Also during the month of Detective Emerson assisted Fish and Game with a criminal investigation, again out in the woods. As part of his duties, Detective Emerson attended the monthly Sexual Assault Response Team SART meeting. At these meetings, Detective Emerson receives training and builds his relationships with the county attorney and other agencies and detectives in Carroll County. Detective Emerson also made multiple motor vehicle stops in the month of September, which is really good for him to squeeze that into. So cases assigned, investigated, assisted with, he had 2 frauds, 1 manufacturing of meth, 1 domestic violence. Percentage of cases closed this month, 68%. Percentage of new cases closed by arrest during this month, 29%. And percentage of the entire caseload closed is 74%. So he had a busy month of September. As you see, the backup work there is provided. And I'll get into the chief's notes.
Can you do a abbreviated version?
Yes.
Thank you.
So there will be an end of the year budget third quarter review after the chief's presentation during the November Police Commissioners meeting. Right now, we're doing just okay with the police budget and dispatch budgets. We are projecting for a within the bottom line ending both budgets, but it will be close. In terms of overall budget, we are about 1.7% underspent, moving into the final quarter of the year. Keep in mind this is the expensive time for us, and we have the most of our holidays during these last quarter of the fiscal year, with 3 in November and 2 in December. So if we get into the budget, we're in week 39, so this is a little new addition in here. So we should be at 75%. So as you see, some of these lines are potentially projected to be overspent. What we really focus on is a cluster of 5, the hourly wages, part-time, overtime, Social Security, and retirement in the police budget. As we know, we were down 2 officers most of this year as we rehired that. But the overtime, we have to fill those shifts. We're a 24/7 operation, and all the shifts need to be covered throughout the year. So the overtime is going to be increased and used more. So as you can see, we're projected, right now, we're projected to be overspent by, 21% in that general ballpark, and which could lead to be about $26,000. But as I said, as long as we keep the cluster of 5, the hourly wages, part-time, overtime, Social Security, retirement, all within each other, as we right now, we're underspent by $15,447.71. So that's how we keep it all together. So as long as we keep those 5 together, knowing that the overtime line is going to be overspent, the hourly wages should be underspent. So the PD budget and for the end of November is underspent by 1.632, which is about $32,000 projected. The dispatch budget, same thing we do as we do with the police budget. We have the part-time, overtime, Social Security, retirement. They're doing very well. They're underspent in those 4 clusters, $5,051.74. So the dispatch overall is underspent by 1.565%, which is projected maybe about $8,000, which is a good thing because if you see all our annual expenses, they're in the beginning of the year. They're usually January through April, which increase your percentages. So that's all starting to catch up right now. So our animal control budget is doing very well in that thing. So, but as we all know, we have a new hire in the animal control, which is now called the Municipal Conservation Officer, and that is Heather Caligantes. So she has filled that role. She came in here. We gave her one little quick animal control dog call, and then we threw her into the mix pretty quick with Unfortunately, we had a sad case of a individual who had about 21 to 25 cats in her house. So we had to actually, Staff Sergeant Maloney was called there for an incident, and as police officers, sometimes something doesn't click right. And so he worked on a search warrant, he got into the house. It was pretty bad, let's just say that. We've been at other incidents like this when we had the dog, the Great Dane case. I would say I was at this house. I didn't physically, I just walked into the door because that was as far as I needed to go. I know the chief went inside, he ran outside real fast. The smell was pretty bad. 25 cats, it was a pretty bad situation. So Heather, Detective Emerson, Staff Sergeant Maloney, unbelievable job in that whole case. I just want to praise them for that. Detective Emerson and Heather went inside, back and forth. They gathered all those cats. We had to go back a couple times and trap them and get them down to the Humane Society. So all the cats are doing good down at the Humane Society right now. They're all alive, healthy. So just an excellent job. She's still working on that too.
Okay.
Back to where I was on these papers. So overall, all three budgets coming into September there, at the end of September, were underspent by $2.699, which is in the ballpark of $67,000. But remember what we approved with the IT, so they did finally take that out last week, I think it was. So that was $10,296, so we're about $56,000 projected right now. But remember, we got a lot of holidays.
Right.
We never know what can happen in 3 months, so it's good to be where we are right now. You never want to be close to being negative, I'll tell you that much. So overall, that's looking good. And that's on page. So we have all but completed the construction of the fiscal year 23 budget and have met, we just met last week with the select board. You guys, some were there. That went very well. And we meet with the budget committee, I believe that's November 28th. It's after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Should be highlighted on that page, Steve. Nope, the one right you were looking at.
November 29th.
The 29th. I knew it was.
Not highlighted, but I can read it.
Yeah.
I highlighted there, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, everything's
Yeah.
gone well.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So everything's gone well with the select board. We were out of there pretty good.
Thank you for doing
some respect time. So so that was great. So personnel, pursuant to the commission's wishes, we had ended the junior JSO position. Corporal Boucher has been moved up to the Kingswood High School complex to assist with Officer Devine as a part-time SRO, and continues to transfer his duties as he's moving his way up there, his juvenile prosecution and evidence room responsibilities to other individuals. As I mentioned before, Heather Calganis has been hired as the new municipal conservation officer. I did elaborate on her work within the last month, which has been pretty remarkable and busy. So thank God she's here, and thank God this position has started. But for everybody that knows, so the municipal officer and animal control officer, we kind of combined this program. Right now, it's more as the animal control, but we'll have more duties as handling minor fish and game, like calls, deal with livestock issues, and still with domestic animals. But then eventually what we're trying to get to is a part-time police officer combined with the municipal conservation officer. So really that individual can handle all the cases, all the calls that relate to criminal side, and handle everything and take it away from patrol, which will make it nice.
Is there any further change in the academy, what they were teaching?
Not yet. So they still don't have the part-time officer academy. They're still looking at to see what that is going to look like. because they're basically looking at what is the certification and responsibilities, and what cannot do based on a full-time academy and a part-time academy. Where there's less hours and different responsibilities there. So they're trying to figure that out. They definitely need it, especially in this state,
Yeah,
with small
I
towns
agree.
and
Yeah.
towns like Hampton who rely on part-time. So it'll be interesting how that moves forward. The chief and myself, we continue to work with the town manager and the rest of the team on the public safety building. I know we have a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. The good thing about this, I believe, as much as I know, the knowledge I do have, it looks like the goal is to get it back onto this lot where we're at and put it as a public safety building. So that's the goal that's out there right now, and that's what we're trying to get to. So I'll know more tomorrow at 2 p.m. And that's a public forum, so anyone can go there, and that's gonna be in this room at 2 p.m. in the library. Police training. I completed an executive training with the FBI leader class, which was an excellent class and one that I will be getting all our supervisors into. Corporal Shanks finished his crash reconstruction, his 3rd class and final class, so he is a crash reconstructionist. He's finished all 3 classes. He did this in remarkably, almost in 7 months, which is pretty impressive. It was nice that Guilford PD pulled this company up, which saved a lot of money, because one class really costs $5,000, and you have to send them pretty much down to Connecticut or Florida. So they pulled this, and they pulled it up here to Guilford. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was
$9.95.
$9.95 a class.
Mhm.
So 3 classes was $3,000. So it was well done, because we need more in this general area. I tell you that much. Officer Peasley did the SWAT training. He does that twice a month. That's continued. He was here today, getting recognized, so that was great. Dispatch, we didn't have anything for this month for training. We're starting to see stuff for dispatch, so that will start increasing as time goes on. COVID has really shut that down. Operations, criminal investigation, and prosecutions. In terms of police investigations, prosecutions, and operations, the month of September was busy. With 18 defendants, our prosecutor continues to work through the extraordinary caseload created by the courts in terms of their response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Prosecutions, the month of September saw 18 defendants responding to 18 charges. Of those 15 defendants, 15 pled out or were found guilty at trial. 3 charges were placed on file pending good behavior, restitution, classes, or counseling as part of their agreement. The conviction rate this past month is 100%, with $6,215 in fines, restitutions, and penalties made it out of the courts. So the courts get all that. I just want to. The town of Wolfeboro does not see that money.
Yeah.
I always want to emphasize that.
Yeah.
The work we do, it goes to the state. It doesn't come to the town of Wolfeboro. Only town ordinances and certain other little fines do.
Yeah.
So that's all, I believe. Oh, no, I got another
Yeah, the
page.
safety and security.
Yeah, I moved away from that,
Okay,
because a lot of that stuff he's done that. So dispatch pursuant to the vote of the commissioners, we asked that the town purchase the dispatch switch, which I talked about, and they took that out of the animal control budget last week. Motor vehicle enforcement, in an effort to mitigate the traffic crashes we realize monthly as we have an increase, as I showed, we will be continued a strong proactive approach to motor vehicle enforcement. This can be seen in our monthly briefing slides. We will be conducting aggressive speed reduction patrols all through town, so please, if you are in the habit of speeding, don't. Lastly, we continue to deploy assets and patrol to our identified problem areas. North Main has been a problem area, so be careful out there. You will see the cruisers and lights in that general area. In matter of note, we are still seeing significant number of vehicles with overdue registrations and inspection stickers. I know the chief has said this almost every month. I see it, we all see it. Tickets this past month were up significantly, most due to inspections, registrations, expired license. Our highway safety patrols are now out in force, and you are, which starts in October, and you are running a great peril to yourself or your family members if you allow improperly registered and inspected vehicles to operate on our ways. So please have these vehicles registered, inspected, and check your license regularly so you know when it expires. So most of the time, the state will send a letter to your last known address, what they have for what you registered with them. If you did not change it, you will not get it. So just remember that, so take a peek at your license and see when it expires. Outreach and matters of interest. We are still engaging in a wide variety of TV and talk shows along the town of Wolfeboro community programs. On the 8th of September, the chief and I attended the Public Safety Building CIP meeting, which went very well. I know we have a new, Banwell is our new architectural firm that's moving forward, so they've been great to work with. And the safety tip of the month. As you know, this is October. This is the chief's favorite month, as Halloween is his day. If you ever heard his cell phone ring. October is a busy month here in Wolfeboro as folks plan their last visit to the North Country before the heavy snow sets in. Additionally, October is a time of merriment as we all enjoy those fall get-togethers and Halloween parties. Please be safe while taking in these events, and when out trick-or-treating, consume only safe treats which are prepackaged. Accept only home goods from folks you know, and as always, be safe while driving around our busy town roads, realizing that this month brings with an increased travel because of pending festivities. So Halloween this year, I believe it's on a Monday, is the 31st. It's from 5 to 7. So the downtown becomes very busy with kids, adults, monsters, and all that good stuff. So be careful while you drive.
I just add that wet leaves
Yeah,
are dangerous to drive on.
so, perfect. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, our next meeting will be on Thursday, which is our normal meeting day, the third Thursday, and that will be November 17th. And we will meet here in the Bradley Room at 4 p.m. We do have our representative from the Board of Selectmen with us this afternoon, Luke Freudenberg. Luke, do you have anything you'd like to share with us, or any questions of us, rather?
I think the budget went really well. I'm only speaking for myself, but Mark and the team and having everyone there, I think was nice for the board to see, and things went very smoothly, and we got through that budget very quickly. So it's a testament to the commissioners and to the chief and the captain for putting together a really good budget, and Sherry. So,
She does all the work, we won't lie.
Yeah, if I've heard of forgotten, I would have gotten that.
Deservingly so.
Okay. We also have our liaison from the Budget Committee, Tom Bell. Tom, do you have anything?
Actually, I'm just starting to really get a look at the budget, and so, we'll help to manage that as best we can as liaison with the police department and the budget committee. So work looks good so far, but more details to follow.
Good.
Very good, Sherry.
I did have coffee with John one morning last weekend, just to bring him up to speed with
Good.
about the SROs mostly, just so he was up to date with the information, because originally, if you recall, at the safety forum that we held with officials from the school district, the superintendent, and then one of the principals was there, that we were looking for 2 full-time SROs, and we have changed our thought process, if you will, and so we've taken the juvenile services officer position and morphed that, if you will, into a part-time SRO position. And the reason for that is we still are working with the school district. They're moving forward with their budget. We're moving forward with our budget to bring on one more full-time school resource officer, which will be the expense will be shared between the town and the school district. But the second one that we had proposed was less likely to be sold easily to the district, because that SRO would have been exclusive to the two Wolfeboro elementary schools. And so we had to be a little bit creative, if you will, and we decided to pull back on the full-time and go with a part-time. And in so doing, we actually saved a little money in the budget doing that. And so we're excited for that to be moving forward, because sadly, we're seeing a need to have an SRO, maybe not on a full-time basis, but moving between the two schools, even though they're younger children, having that presence there. And also, I learned early on, at the very start of my law enforcement career, the value of building relationships with students, because they see everything, they hear everything, and they love to talk to you if they trust you, if they feel comfortable with you. And they are a remarkable resource.
The younger you can get them, the better.
Exactly.
Amen.
And we're not looking to make everybody a stool pigeon, but we want to have children growing up understanding that we have a very approachable police force here in Wolfeboro. They're more desirous of working with the families, the children, townspeople in general, in an educational manner, rather than, strong arming, so to speak, or, being punitive. And I think that's working well. We have an exceptional core of people on the police department. They do a phenomenal job, and I know the commission's grateful for that, so. Thank you, Tom. Do we have anything from the public? Okay. Then at this time, I will entertain a motion to enter into non-public session under 91-A to discuss personnel matter.
I move that we enter into non-public session.
Okay, I'll second it. Commissioner O'Brien, seconded by Commissioner Coop. This requires a roll call vote. Commissioner O'Brien?
Aye.
Commissioner Coop?
Aye.
And Commissioner Wood is an aye also. We will stand in recess momentarily. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.